Hello everyone. So Scott Hargis and I recently got into a little discussion on a forum about whether you should move stuff or not on a real estate photography shoot. And you know, this is a real topic for everyone to sort of have a good grasp on. How should you handle this and what should you do? And I should note here, I'm kind of traveling right now, so this is going to be all in one shot, this blog, just one shot, and I know the audio is not that great, but bear with me. So, first of all, I wanted to kind of just address this because some of my blogs are sort of, I haven't mentioned names ever in my blog, this is probably the first time, but some of my blogs might be a little bit kind of anti-Scott Hargis technique. And, you know, what I have to say about that is that's probably true, but the thing is, I have a lot of respect for, you know, what Hargis has done in the past, and he sort of pioneered, you know, real estate photographers. He sort of pioneered all these lighting techniques, and we should all be really appreciative of that, of course. He's kind of like the Arnold Palmer of, you know, real estate photography, in my opinion. So anyway, the thing is, though, we can disagree about what we think beginners should be getting into the field with, right? He thinks maybe, you know, I don't mean to speak for him, but he might think people need to be more getting things in a single frame. I tend to think people should be moving towards more a compositing based approach right when they're starting out, all right? So, on to this topic about if you should move stuff in your real estate photography or not. You know, you get to a house, there's stuff everywhere. It's a problem, right? So the first thing that I'll say is kind of the default position that people take, your clients and also the homeowners. They sort of say to themselves, well, the real estate photographer will know if that pillow looks good there, right? So we'll leave it up to him. And that's just the default position they're going to take. They're going to kind of put it on you. They sort of rationalize it in their head. You know, they're lazy maybe, they don't want to do the work. They sort of put it onto you. So the very first thing I would say you got to be good at is you got to get in there and get that pre-shoot checklist and give that to your clients, and make sure you know, make sure you're assertive about this, and you say, you know, the house has to be shoot ready when I arrive. Okay, so it just has to be shoot ready. I get there, you know, I'm a busy guy, I'm going to be going to a next shoot after you're home, and so it's got to be ready when I get there. And so another way you can tackle this is, let's say you arrive at the home, and there's something that's out of place. Maybe you're shooting the living room, and you look out into the backyard, and you see that the hot tub cover is on the hot tub, right? That's what Scott and I's discussion was about. So you see the hot tub cover, you can just say as you're shooting the living room or the kitchen, you know, as your client passes by, oh, you know, it would be really great if that hot tub cover got removed as I'm shooting the downstairs, or whatever. However politely you want to say it, just make sure they know that needs to go, okay? So I think at that point, if you've done those two things, if you've really lined up their expectations about what you expect when you arrive at a shoot, and then the second thing I would say is, if you see anything after you arrive at a home, just mention to them in passing. Maybe you walk out to the backyard and see some clutter in the backyard. Well, you can walk back in the house and go upstairs, and as you're passing your client, you can say something like, you know, the backyard should really be picked up. I can't shoot with all that back there because it's going to look bad, and it's really hard for me to move it myself, okay? So that's the way I think you should handle it. And of course, there's going to be situations, and I think this is more the area that Scott Hargis and I were discussing, where what if your client's not even there, right? Well, there's going to be situations where you're going to have stuff in your frame, and there's just nothing you can do about it. You either have to move it or you don't move it, okay? That's the situation. So what I would say is, if you've really lined up your expectations with your client, and there's something at the house that you just don't think should be there, first of all, if it's a small little thing, like a little piece of paper or a pen or something, of course you should move it out of the way. But I would say the biggest drawback to doing stuff for your clients, like moving a huge hot tub cover, and I've gotten these things off myself before, and they're really hard to move because some of them are like designed not to be blown off by the wind, but they're not latched down. So you can pull these off and the thing might rip or whatever. I've had these experiences. It's really terrible. So what I would say is, if you do that for them, if you move that hot tub cover for them, if you move that hot tub cover for them, what's going to happen is they're going to expect it a little more the next time, and a little more the next time, right? And so it's gonna get progressively worse. You're gonna be taking care of all their problems, right? The little stuff that's just not in place when you get to the home. And so you're gonna be taking care of their problems, and it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse as your shoots go on. That's the way I see that. So I do not think that's a good way to handle it. And the other point I'll make is that if you shoot the home with the hot tub cover, on there, you're going to deliver the photo. Maybe they're not crazy about that photo, but I just think it does the opposite of what we just talked about. What's going to happen is they're going to see that photo and they're going to think to themselves, oh yeah, I had to make the house ready to be shot when I arrived. That was just, on me, right? And I made a little mistake there. So next time, guess what's going to happen? And this is kind of the polar opposite of what we just talked about. If you move stuff for your clients, things are going to get worse progressively, right? If you don't move stuff for your clients, things are going to get better. They're going to see the photos and say, oh man, I got to get there maybe 15 minutes earlier and shoot and move that hot tub cover next time, okay? Let's see what else we got here. So again, you're reinforcing bad behavior if you move stuff for your clients, and it progressively gets worse. And that's not to mention, there's a lot of stuff about moving things in a real estate shoot that can be really bad, okay? Like, what if you break something? What if you hurt yourself, right? That would be horrible. What if the homeowner doesn't want you to move something, or there was something kind of sensitive, like you opened up a chest or something and there was a bunch of sensitive stuff in there. So just in general, I think moving stuff on a real estate shoot is just a bad idea, just in general. And I also have a little side note point here. I would even talk to your insurance about this. I mean, why not? Maybe you go talk to your insurance and you say, look, my policy is not to move anything. The photographer down the street from me, he moves stuff all the time. Isn't he like 10 times more likely to break something in the house? So you might even throw that out there for your insurance company. See what they say, just see what they respond back to you. I think that's a good idea. So we're getting toward the end here. So all right, so that's about it. This is the first time, like a one-shot blog for me. So the next time you deliver those photos with the hot tub cover in, I think things are going to get a lot better for you. Like I said, things are going to get progressively better, but if you move them, things are going to be getting progressively worse. And the last thing I'll note is if you move things for your clients, you're really kind of screwing over all the photographers that client is going to have in the future, right? Because they're going to expect that too. But if you don't move things, you're kind of training that client and educating them, look, this stuff needs to be moved. And I think every photographer down the line from you is going to thank you for that. All right? So I'll see you guys next time, and thanks again.